All right, let's get right into it. Market sentiment. What's the market doing? This is a market update that I'm just going to give my thoughts on the market. Obviously, the crypto market has tanked quite a bit. We can look at pretty much any chart to show us that. Tons of news articles. Some of them are bearish, some of them are bullish. Bitcoin falls below 34,000, the lowest price since July. Every market goes in waves. This wave does have something to do with the Federal Reserve. They have been printing money like crazy, which made the price of other deflationary assets go up, like Bitcoin. I wouldn't say it's necessarily deflationary, but it does have a set supply. So it's stuck at a supply of 21 million. If you want to find the supply of a coin, you go to coinmarketcap.com, search for your coin, maybe in the search bar. For Bitcoin, ranked number 1, it's going to be at the top of the list normally. It's got a total supply of 21 million. Sorry, it has a max supply of 21 million, a total supply of 18,938,862. So that means that 18 million of those coins have been mined, have been created through the mining process, and there's only a couple million left to be mined. And so you might think, well, what happens when Bitcoin runs out of its supply? That could be a factor, but because of the halving cycles, Bitcoin most likely won't run out of the supply until, I believe, 2100, so almost 100 years from now, because of the way it's built, unless we have some sort of quantum computing that changes that. However, let's look at the Bitcoin price, all-time high. It's definitely up from a couple years ago. Last cycle, we hit 19,000, and right now it's almost double that, 35,000. It has taken a huge dip, obviously, and it took a huge dip back in, I believe it was March or May of last year. Took a huge dip, clear down here. If you would have bought and clear down here, then you would have been way up. If you sold, if you held, then you're barely in profits, maybe. But Bitcoin doesn't necessarily reward people who sell in the red. That's why there's a term called hodl, because if you are stuck in it, you can hodl, and typically, even if it takes 4 years, you'll be back in profit because of the fundamentals and the supply of Bitcoin. Right now, pretty red. Maybe it's a good time to buy. Not 100% sure, because the market could go either way. I do know that they printed so much money that it's hard to believe that Bitcoin would ever go to zero, because it has a max supply and the US dollar does not have a max supply. One thing we can look at also is market cap. We shrink this down to more recent time. The highest the total market was at was almost 3 trillion. It probably hit 3 trillion at one point. So at the top of this, so almost $3 trillion in the crypto market. From there, it's gone down to way down, as low as 1.5 million. So the whole, 1.5 trillion. So the whole market in the whole crypto market, half of the value that was in there has been stripped away from it. Why this is, I'm not 100% sure. Maybe people are waiting for crypto to fall. It's hard to say. However, there are big companies getting into crypto. So some companies you got that are getting into the metaverse are Walmart. You have Visa, PayPal into crypto, Amazon getting into the metaverse as well. So a lot of big companies getting into the metaverse. And the metaverse is tied into crypto because it allows a full ecosystem to be created on a blockchain like Ethereum. Putting it on crypto is the most useful thing you can do, because it integrates everything together, and that's what makes it so valuable. You can create a metaverse of sorts, but you couldn't take those in-game items or currencies or NFTs out and still utilize them in other markets, unless you had something like blockchain technology or crypto. So a lot of bullish things that are actually happening, but right now I would still be buying crypto at this point. Now the crypto that I would buy, you could buy Bitcoin or Ethereum if you think, hey, this is the bottom. I don't think it's the bottom, and here's why. Because generally, when you have a huge drop, let's look at this one here. This happened in May of last year. Ethereum was up to $4,100, and it had this huge drop down to 26, and it had this big rally. Down to 2,100. Had this huge rally back up to 28, and if you would have bought back at 28, you would have been holding the bag for a long time. So there's a big span of when it dropped, and then when it kind of did a dead cat bounce is what they call it, where it just kind of boom, 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 clear down to its lowest point, which ended up being 1,700. You can buy here as long as you know that this relief rally up here is gonna be where you want to try to sell it, because most likely we're going to see this dead cat bounce. Maybe that's not always the case, but we have another scenario over here. Ethereum almost went to 4,000. It dropped down to 3,200, had a relief rally to 36, and then continued dropping for quite some time. I mean, this is a month worth of time almost, and then it started rallying back up. So in my opinion, you kind of want to wait for that drop to stabilize. You know, there's a support zone down at 2,800 at that point, and people started buying up at that point because they saw so much bullish news in the market. So right now we've seen a huge drop. We've actually seen a huge cascading drop. It's potential that this, because this lasted so long, this drop has been such a prolonged period from November till now, you know, a few months, it may play out even longer. That dead cat bounce could be even longer. It's a prolonged drop, so you never really know what's going to happen. There could be a relief rally that takes it to the moon, but because the price is so high on some of these bigger assets like Ethereum, like Bitcoin, it takes a lot more money in the market to move it that much. Now, in other times when the crypto market wasn't as big, as juicy, you know, we can look at some of these drops. This was back in 2017. It went from $190 down to $150. Pretty big drop, but then it had this huge rally. But that's because the coin was quite a bit cheaper. Right now, I wouldn't say it's inflated, but it's a lot more expensive and harder to move the market that fast just with everybody getting excited about it again. It does happen, and there are big jump ups throughout the whole market, but you got to be willing to sell a little bit above where you bought it from on these big jump ups, unless you want to wait quite a few months for it to play out. So what crypto would I be buying? Well, I would be buying stable coins. If we go here, we can go to Gemini.com/earn, or just go to Gemini.com, this products tab, and then click on this Gemini Earn spot. You can put in, okay, how much money do I want to put in the market? Let's say you want to put, let's do 500. That's more realistic for a lot of people. This is going to grow at 8% APY. So the whole market's tanking, but you're putting your money into a stable coin that's pegged 1-to-1 to the dollar. It doesn't change from a dollar. It might go to 99.99 cents or $1.0001, but it's right there with a dollar. So now I can earn 8% on that dollar, since the dollar right now is showing more strength than the crypto market, because people are wanting to put their money into the dollar or maybe even other assets. I don't know any market that's not tanking. However, would I keep my money in the bank account where it's losing to inflation, or would I put it in a stablecoin cryptocurrency that is going to keep up with inflation? I would definitely put it in a stablecoin that's going to earn 8% a year and at least try its best to keep up with inflation. So this just shows I would earn $83 per year. So say I wanted to put $500 a month in for a year, that'd be $6,000, and I would have earned $1,000 in interest. And if the market turns around and we have bottomed out over here and it's going to go higher than what it is right now, if Ethereum's going to go higher than $2,300, then you can take it out of the stablecoin real quick and buy Ethereum at any point. But most of the time, the market's going to have a dead cat bounce, and it's going to give you plenty of time to enter. You're going to have a month to 3 months to maybe even half a year to find a good entry point, in my opinion. Now, there could be big companies that just decide they want to gobble up the market really fast, and you can try to ride that wave up. But if you're paying attention, you're going to notice that. And buying right now at 2,300, when it could dip even lower, could go down all the way to 1,800. You know, you're going to lose $500 for each Ethereum that you buy. I'm not saying that's the price it's going to go to, but that's the next support level that I'm seeing, because there's a lot of purchases right in that range. And so there's people that might not sell below that point, or they figure that it's going to hold. Whatever the case is, keep buying crypto, buy stable coins, wait to see if the market's going to reverse. Crypto is not dead. It would have died a long time ago. Right now, each coin is worth a lot of money still. It just depends on when you've bought. So if you keep purchasing crypto when it's at its low points, when it's had a 50% correction or drop or meltdown, that's going to be your best entry points. So right now is a really good entry point, but I would still wait and watch it play out, because it could have that dead cat bounce and drop even lower throughout those waves that it goes in. Hope that was helpful, talking about the market and what I see in the market. Obviously not financial advice. Do your own research, but this is my experience of being in the market since 2015 actually. I wasn't actively trading back in 2015, but I've been watching the market ever since 2015. So I've seen it a lot, and the best time to take profits is when it feels like it's gonna go up forever. And you might think it is based on people's speculation and people's price predictions. And it over time probably will go up forever, but you still want to sell high, sell when you're in profits, sell when you're excited, like the market's going up forever, you've made some gains. It's a good time to sell because you're gonna have really good entry points. Crypto always gives good entry points to people who are patient. That's just how it is.